Happy Monday morning, everyone. It's psychic medium Josh Simons coming to everyone with my Monday message this week. It is Memorial Day. Day off for a lot of us. For some of us, not so much. Memorial Day is the time of year that the United States, anyways, has set aside to honor those who have lost their lives in combat, those who have gone away to war, those who were in active service and lost their life in the name of American freedom. And it's certainly a day to honor those in our families, those in our communities that have lost their lives to keep us safe. Now, I'm a very proud American, all right? I am not too political of a person because I have lots of issues with modern politics, especially our two-party system. But I am a proud American, and I really do love the principles that America claimed to be founded on. You know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If you sit with me during a reading and I talk to you about your spirits, one of the things that I will say often is that we are our own personal democracy, right? That sovereignty of self is one of my biggest tenets, right? Nobody should be able to tell you how to lead your life so long as you're not hurting other people. I truly believe that, right? And the same goes with spirits. My example that I use all the time is if we're in a session and grandma comes through and says, you got to cut it out with the donuts. Your life, if you want to walk out of our session and go to Dunkin' Donuts or a donut shop and get donuts to eat, you absolutely can. You just have to honor and acknowledge that Graham sees a relationship between you and donuts or whiskey or scratch tickets or ketchup or men or whatever it is that's not ideal, and you should work on that, right? Sovereignty of self, right? Sovereignty of the individual. Don't tell me what to believe. Don't tell me what to do behind my closed doors, right? I think that's important for everybody. I think that we seem to lose that on both sides of the political spectrum, right? Well, we have Memorial Day celebrating those people that fought for our freedoms. And we are very free in this country. We could probably do something about the taxes that working people pay and the mega rich don't. But generally speaking, if I wanted to start a business, I had the freedom to do that, right? Women nowadays, and boy have we fought for this, women nowadays can have their own credit cards and own their own businesses and have their own homes and have their girlfriends or wives or what have you. I can have my husband, right? So freedom is something that we constantly have to work toward, work for. Yes. Memorial Day is the day that we honor those people who died in military service or like active combat, like I said. I don't have anybody, as far as I can tell, in my history that I've researched that has actually passed away in active service. I have plenty of people that were in the military. My grandfather was in World War II. His father was in World War II and World War I. And that is amazing. And they both came back from those experiences. I have ancestors that were in the Civil War fighting for the North, right? And I am very proud of them. Those wars, the Civil War and World War II, those were wars really worth fighting for. I can't speak to really Vietnam because I don't think we really had much to worry about the Vietnamese in the jungle in Asia, but I wasn't there. Today, Memorial Day, honor those who have lost their lives. Absolutely, right? Honor those who come before. Show them that you honor their sacrifice, right? So important. It's also a good reminder for us not to take any thunder away from those folks who lost their lives in service. But it's also a good day to honor the people that just came before us, right? If you don't have people in your family that lost their lives in service. Take today to honor your ancestors and beloved dead and the people that would have come before you. Ancestor veneration is something that is probably the core to my spiritual practice. Ancestor veneration and working with land, right? Land spirits. And I have some other spirits that I work with on a regular basis, more of a private thing. But the ancestors, everybody has ancestors, and everybody can thank ancestors, good, bad, or indifferent. Everybody has ancestors that were strong and suffered to make sure that we could see this day and know this gift of life. So please find some time today, maybe, or soon, or on a regular basis where you can honor them. I want to show you something I made, and it means a lot to me. So I have this little binder here, and this is something that I made a while back. And so it is a binder, and the pages have punches in them, right? So it is like a binder. So what I have is this book that I made. I call it my Book of Ancestors. And the first page that I have is my Grandma Edith, the grandmother that I knew the best, right? I didn't know my other grandmother. As we turn these pages, right, here's my Grandma Edith. There's her. Oh, pictures are getting unstuck here. These aren't the best little things here. This is my grandfather, Bob, my mom's father, Edith's husband. This is my grandfather, Bradford, or they would have called him Bun. This is the fellow that was in World War II. His wife, Effie. And then I have my great-grandmother and great-grandfather, Myrtle and Henry. And my great-grandfather, James Benjamin. He was the fellow that was in World War I and World War II. Here's his wife, Susie Hilliard. Here's Susie Hilliard's father, Henry. Here's my great-great-grandfather, Charles. And you can see on and on and on that I've made this book of ancestors. And I have their birthdays listed at the bottom of the page. And when their birthdays come around, I pop the page out and I set it up on my home altar. I light them candles and some incense, give them some water, some food, some drink. Honoring our ancestors in this way is very effective, especially for our overall well-being in our life. And we see this often in more Asian cultures, like if you were to walk into like a Thai restaurant, Japanese restaurant, Chinese restaurant, that sort of thing, you'll often see like pictures of ancestors with some bowls of fruit and water out there. I don't know how it works, but I can tell you that it does work. Our ancestors and beloved dead take sustenance and delight in the things that we make them as offerings. Now, you can think of spirits and ancestors as being on, in another dimension, if you will, that kind of overlaps with this one. And when we make these offerings to them, they do take sustenance. Again, hard for us to wrap our head around how it works. All I know is it does work. I have story after story after story about how offerings work to help improve our lives, right? If our spirits have energy, they have energy to influence our lives for the better. Little story, this morning I went to a local cemetery, Johns River Cemetery in Dalton, New Hampshire, and I have all sorts of ancestors and relatives buried, right? Very potent place for me personally. There's like at least a dozen. That's where my dad's parents are buried. I just got this feeling the other day, and I'll actually show you the ancestors because these are the ones that were kind of speaking to me. So here we go. My great-great-great-grandfather, born February 10th of 1810, his name was Jehiel Simons. Now, Jehiel was the son of a Native American woman named Zuba. She was a Pequot Indian. And you can certainly see that Native American in him, right? So this is my great 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 grandfather, Jehiel. He had a wife named Harriet. Harriet was born August 7th, 1815. That's Harriet. Mary Barrows, right? I know from experience that Jehiel liked whiskey. Couldn't tell you. I don't believe he had a dependency or a problem with it, but I do think that he was somebody that drank it. And I brought some to the cemetery today. Now, I recommend that people do this. Alcohol is a very potent offering, but I don't recommend it to people to make offerings if the person that you're making offerings to or if the family that you're a part of has severe issues with alcohol. That's just not healthy, right? There's plenty of other offerings that you can make. So I got the urge to bring Jehiel some whiskey. And then as I was walking around the liquor store, I got the feeling that Harriet, right, and this is how this stuff happens to me, Harriet wanted something rose flavored. And I'm like, I'm not big into rose flavored stuff at all. So I asked around and they said, hey, anything rose flavored? I know this is weird and I wasn't expecting anything to be rose flavored. And in fact, they had some options. So I got some rose and strawberry Smirnoff vodka, all right? Went to the cemetery this morning before coming in to do my readings, because I record this on Sunday. I play it on Monday. Went to the cemetery, poured out some vodka on the grass for Harriet, and then I poured out some whiskey for Jehiel, right? Wind is blowing. I offer my words of thanks. Let them know that I'm here and I'm doing my damnedest to be a descendant of whom they can be proud, right? Like, we should be proud of our ancestors if we have that opportunity. And as we work through life, we are also becoming the ancestors to our descendants. I am their great 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 grandson, almost over 200 years later, going to the gravesite, honoring them, speaking to them, making offerings to them. And then I make my way to the space to go do my day of readings. And on the way there, I pull over. Because some of you may know this, some of you may not know this. I have a really strange thing with four-leaf clovers. Like, bizarre. This is a family thing that I have found, because I recently connected with a cousin of mine. She's a few years older than me. We didn't grow up together, right? We just kind of lived in the same area. Her father was much older than my father. As I was a kid, she was off leading her life, sort of thing. Our family wasn't close. Her father ended up in Alaska. My dad stayed here, sort of thing. But recently we connected and we were talking about stuff. And she told me that her father had this weird thing with four-leaf clovers too. Like, you could just find them. It's a family thing. It's fascinating to me. Today, I'll pull over. I'll show you. I have 44 four-leaf clovers. 44. This gets me up to 134 for the year. And I'm kind of used to it by now. And I don't want to get desensitized to the wonder of it all, because it is bonkers to me. When I give readings to folks, my in-person readings, I give everybody a four-leaf clover charm. I take these, I press them, I shellac them onto little round pieces of wood, and if you come to see me for an in-person reading, you're going to walk away with one of these. Unless I really don't like you. And that sometimes happens, right? If you're just a shitbag of a person, you're not walking away with a four-leaf clover. That doesn't happen very often. Today, though, was very significant, because over the course of finding four-leaf clovers, I found a ton of 4, 5, 6-leaf clovers. I've always wanted to find a 7-leaf clover. 7-leaf clover is a big deal to me. It's kind of like the golden lamb, if you will, because I just hadn't found one, and 7 is a very lucky number. Today I found not only a 7-leaf clover, but I found a 9-leaf clover. And if you're friends with me on Facebook, I put these in a photo album, and I had to make little videos of these clovers because, like, you couldn't see all the leaves in a single picture. It was mind-blowing. So this is a very significant day for me. Look at what happened there. Go to a cemetery, make offerings to my family, and then I find these beauties. Our beloved dead exist. Our ancestors exist. They carry on in ways that is hard for us as humans to feel or interpret or sense, right? And some of us are better at it than others. But even if you can't sense them, even if you don't know they're there, I can tell you that they are there, and that by making offerings to them, candles, incense, water, flowers, food, drink, those types of things, showing them your devotion and your love for them, your life will get better. Your life will get better. Things will get better in your life. Your spirits will have the energy to help influence your life more for the positive. This is stuff that we've done probably since we first understood spirits and ancestors and what have you. This is old stuff. And it's also very effective. It's something that we've kind of gotten away from collectively. The world is kind of moving back to this. But I can speak to this type of work and the magic that it can bring to our lives, the health that it can bring to our lives, both physically and mentally. It's really important stuff. I look forward to the day where I'm in spirit and I've got a great grandson saying my name and making me offerings so I can better help him or her in life. Very much hoping that happens, right? Because these are things that we've done for a really long time, and in our modern age we've kind of fallen away from them for all sorts of reasons, religious, social, cultural, all sorts of reasons, right? But we should. So being that today is Memorial Day, as you're watching this, appreciate your ancestors. If you can't do anything, just take a few moments to say thank you, because I can guarantee you're here because people suffered. You're here because people suffered and fought and hurt, struggled. You owe them a thank you. If you enjoy your life whatsoever, if you enjoy the beauty of life and family and love and the things in your life, somebody suffered so you could see those things. Or not. Do what you do in life. But I know that most people watching this are people with hearts and people with manners and people with consideration, that they would say thank you to the people in life, right? If somebody would get you a gift or did something for you, you would say thank you to them. This is what we should be doing for those that we can't see, as well as we do it for those that we do see. So, happy Memorial Day. I'm actually going to go to a cookout, I think, picnic, something, with my cousin. That cousin I was talking about for the very first time. She invited me over, right? So we're going. That's very cool. I'm very excited for that. I get to meet her kids. So it's a little bit of family time that both of us have gone without. So I'm very excited for that. Be well. Take care of yourselves out there. Honor your ancestors and thank them. And watch your life get better. Trust me, it happens.